Hello, this is Consoles Are Better. Today, I will give you a list of the reasons why controllers are a far superior option than keyboard and mouse for gaming. I've made a list giving reasons why controllers are better than keyboard and mouse. I'll be going through them from what I feel is the least important to what I feel is the most important. The first one on my list is price per quality. We'll say typically you're going to buy a new controller for the Xbox One or PS4. That'll run you about $60, and that's pretty much it. You can now fully play all the games on your console. For PC, however, you have to buy a keyboard and mouse, which are two things, which they can range from prices such as $50 to up to $100 plus. And same thing with mouses, at least a gaming mouse. You can have a halfway decent, pretty cheap quality keyboard and mouse for probably under that. Let's say $10 for a keyboard, $10 for a mouse, even though you'll most likely pay $30 for a keyboard if you want a good one, something from Logitech, something trustworthy. And at least a somewhat decent mouse for, like, as I said, like $20, $15 to $30, which is about the same price as the controller. But the thing is, even controllers are still even cheaper, such as cheap as $25. For example, the Logitech gaming pad F310, not counting on sales, is $25, which is way cheaper than both a okay keyboard and okay mouse. The second thing on my list is the rumble feature on controllers. This what I feel gives an edge to controllers over keyboard and mouse. Rumble can immerse you and give you situational awareness. For example, when driving a car, it can help you to feel your speed, or if you crash or get shot at, instead of having to look on the screen and have a notifier tell you this. Also, it's been very well done in games like Skyrim or Batman, where in Skyrim, when you're picking lock, the controller starts shaking when the pick is about to break, or when in Batman, you can feel when you're about to crack the code. I feel that this is a very good thing that controllers have over mouse and keyboard, because keyboard and mouse cannot really have this. If you had it in the mouse, that would kind of shake it, that would ruin your accuracy, especially in shooting games. And the keyboard is, unless you put it in like every button or have the whole keyboard shake, that would be really weird. So I feel this is an edge that gives an extra layer of immersion and detail that mouse and keyboard cannot have. The third item on my list is the ability to have more subtle movement. This is due to analog sticks, which I feel allows more subtle, easier movement. For example, in a PC game, if you want to walk or go slowly, you can't do it because most of the time pressing any button on the WASD will accelerate you to the fullest speed. Even some games like Half-Life 2 or Counter-Strike, you have to hold a certain button to actually walk, which I feel is a bit unnecessary, and you can't even adjust your walking speed or running speed. For controllers, this is easier to do with the analog stick. You can actually move slightly. I feel this also makes sneaking and stealth games a bit more fun, because it adds a little bit of an edge to when you're walking, because you don't want to alert the guards, you don't want to move your analog too far. I also feel it makes it easier to slowly move your sights than a mouse. For me personally, I find it easier to line up headshots with a controller, to be able to ease it onto the character's head, while with the mouse it's really easy for me to overshoot. Also, when playing a game such as Skyrim or Dragon Age Inquisition, it's much easier to scan a vista, and it's more immersive. Instead of having to move your mouse and pick up and move it to scroll over a view. With controllers, all I have to do is slowly tilt the analog stick and your camera will pan. The fourth and final item on my list is ergonomics, which I feel is the most important advantage and feature that controllers have that make them far superior to keyboard and mouse. The controller is built for your hand, and it fits very well. If you give a controller to a person who typically has never played a video game before in life, it'll be very easy for them to pick up and at least figure out how to hold the controller. while with a keyboard and mouse, it's very unnatural. Putting your hands on WASD on some random letters from keyboard isn't, something that is natural to you. Even if the keyboard has dimples, where the WASD or supposed to put your fingers, it's still not a very natural thing to do. Also, controllers have a nice premium feel and weight to them, especially if there's rumble in it, and they don't feel like it's gonna, get, that badly, damaged if you drop it a bit or anything. Like with keyboards, you're scared like the keys might fall out or the mouse might get cracked. Controllers usually have a really good build quality. Also, all the buttons are in reach, which allows for very simple, easy to use features. Unlike with keyboard, especially if the game isn't poorly optimized for PC controls, you could be having to reach over to a part of the keyboard which isn't in your hand. This makes it really hard to move and do another feature without having to move your hand off of the WASD or even take your hand off the mouse. Also, very easy to use without actually looking at your controller. For example, when you see people playing games with the Oculus Rift and the new Morpheus or whatever Xbox will come out with, it's easier to use with a controller since it's really easy to memorize where all the buttons are, or even just feel them. Unlike with keyboard, it's pretty hard to know what keyboard button you're on because all the keys pretty much feel the same. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed the content, click subscribe to join the Console Masters. I will see you in the next video.